more positions. He has rich, yeah, he has rich administrative knowledge, and also he visited several countries on academic and South, and he was there for 2 years in Saudi, and his rich academic experience and administrative experience making us to continue this expert lecture on every Saturday. Thank you, sir, for giving opportunity to students, providing this facility. Thank you very much. And now I request Professor R. Nageshwara sir to speak few words.
Thank you so much, Jahangir sir, my placement officer, my colleague in the Department of Business Management, and welcome and warm good morning to all my dear students, friends, because always they are my student friends. Today I have a great privilege to listen to Gayatri Mohanty madam and how to face the turbulent situation post MBA. Actually, we have conducted several seminars, and most of the topics actually subject oriented, and this is the topic actually career oriented in the lifetime. So always there's a saying, my dear students, when we take rest, according to me, the moment you're getting an idea that this is the time, I don't think you will get any time to take the rest. The entire life, I think you need to continue day to day value creation. No doubt about it. Day to day, you need to create that means whatever the value you have created today, that should be the more than the value what you have already created yesterday. So when I was doing 10th class, once I completed pass out this 10th class, I think I thought I will achieve something, but there is again turbulent situation in the plus 2. I thought that once I achieve this plus 2, I think the degree I can enjoy. Never, right? And after that, that becomes another turbulent situation. Scholarship programs, that program, this program. I completed degree. That's BCom, and I got into MBA. Once I got into MBA, I thought that definitely I can enjoy. No, because MBA is the last degree. After MBA, there's nothing is available for the study. After MBA, definitely I have to get a job, right? So that was another challenge during MBA, where you also facing the same thing. I'm true because uh, sometimes what happens, my dear students. Sorry.
అన్ని ఇలాగే చేశారు కానీ ఈ ఒక్క విషయం మీరు ఎంత వితండగా వాదిస్తున్నారు మను.
హలో Jahangir?
I'm muting. Anirudh. I'm muted, sir. I'm muted.
Okay.
Please continue, sir. Please continue.
Yeah. So that's what is happening. You see, the turbulent situation always will be facing you, right? Sometimes, after completion of MBA, I got the job. Again, there are certain challenges in the job. It is there. It's a totally external environment. So with all these, my dear students, you see, what is going to happen? So when you're going to relax, I don't think, okay, that's what you need, a strategic planning, right? For each and everything. Even you have a 100% strategic planning also, friends, what is going to happen? Sometimes we will fail, but because of the natural calamity. So all these things you try to understand, and logically you try to proceed in your life. And I'm sure Gayatri Mohanty madam, and definitely she is going to take you through the entire thing. And that's what when you say risk and return, these are the two things generally we teach in MBA. And if I ask a question, which one you are most interested, risk or return, means we say we are interested in the return only. But friends, you tell me, is there any return without risk? That's what first I think we need to understand the risk, quantify the risk. And if there is a possibility, trying to find a 100% solution to that risk, but most of the times it's not possible actually, right? So then what is possible? Even there is no solution to the risk what you are facing, at least you try to understand that risk. When you face that risk, you see, because you are already studied something about the risk, and courageously you can face that risk. That's most important. Never pray God solve all my problems. Rather, you pray God, you give me courage to face the problems. That is my contention. And my dear friends, this is a very great occasion and kindly enjoy your lecture. I wish you all the best. Have a wonderful session. Thank you very much. And welcome Gayatri Madam. And first time I'm looking. And
Thank you
as
very
soon
much.
as I logged into Gayatri
Thank
Madam,
you very much, sir.
Madam is name is not displaying. I thought, who is this student? She looks like a MBA student, only very young madam. And kindly interact with our
Okay.
students. And God bless you, madam. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Now, let me introduce all my to
Gayatri Madam.
my students. That had all completed BA and MBA. Since her childhood, she is bold and outspoken, and she is a multi-talented personality. Worked in corporate world, and also she is a fitness trainer. She is also interested in trekking. Her bold personality achieved several awards, several achievements, and just few I would like to mention here. She in her trekking, Kedarnath Mount, she Mount Everest camp, which is Prime Minister, and which is also acted in short films, a short film on mental health, and she is a jury in various modeling for several cosmetic and beauty brands, and also she wrote several articles on fitness which are published in reputed journals. Recently, one which published, and since her childhood, she is a patriotic National Cadet Corps member. She completed her Republic Day parade, and Madam was a successful banker for 12 years, and even after her success, she left the job and she had taken her choice of thing. And Madam also awarded several awards. She achieved several awards. Mrs. Karnataka first runner-up Best Body Award in 2019, an International Award in 2021, and also she NC in 2002. As you mentioned, what next? It is, is piercing the minds of my students. What next? They're also from you, madam, very keen to listen to you. What next? Thank you, madam, for giving us opportunity, and thank you. You are cordially invited to speak on this Zoom platform to my students. Thank you, madam. Madam Gayatri, madam.
Yes, sir.
Please.
Hello.
Madam, you are audible. You are audible.
You're audible, madam. You're audible, actually.
Okay. So good morning, everyone. I'm
Audible.
sure I'm not going to, make your Saturday morning so boring. I wish I'm going to make this session as interesting as possible, so that you not only after this session you get some takeaways, but also you find it interesting that you can come back to me with a lot more questions post the session. So, as Jahangir sir has given an introduction about me, I would not like to introduce myself as any of the things what he has introduced, with due respect to whatever I have achieved in life. Though I think they are not real achievements, I feel that there are more to come. I have started my journey of management when I post my graduation, and I was an MBA graduate, just like how you all are studying now. And it's been a real big honor and a privilege to be, delivering my talk. I'm really thankful to Jahangir sir, Nageshwar Rao sir, and all the respected, faculties and professors for giving me this opportunity. To start with, I would say that being a management student, you just don't end up or land up with a certificate and a job. You will actually learn a lot of things, which helps you to manage not only your life ahead of MBA, but also at various points. It helps you. What do we learn are only subjects in the management, but what we take away from that is the most important thing. With the current situation of pandemic, I'm sure everyone is worried about what's going to happen about our job, what's going to happen to our careers, with the economy going down, with inflation rising up, with rupee value going down. I'm sure we all have these kind of worries, which is very, very normal, because if I would have been in your place, even I would have had these kind of concerns in my mind. What will happen? So I just want to focus on few things what I have learned post my MBA and how it has helped me throughout my journey till now. So I did my MBA from KITS Deemed University, that's in Orissa. And post my MBA, I started working with an insurance company and Tata AIG Life Insurance Company, where I worked for 1.5 year. And then post that, I started working for banking sector, where I worked for almost close to 11 years. So what are the things which has helped me? It's like, what does management teach us? It teaches us like the skills of marketing, the people management skills from HR, and we learn about finance, we learn about statistics. Now you must be all thinking that, okay, fine, we already are learning all these things, what's more I'm going to talk about it now. Merrily, after passing from Osmania and or any of the management colleges, you go ahead and start your corporate life, your working career, and then forget about what has happened, and then you get so busy in your own life that we start, after a point of time, we start kind of feeling saturated. That happens to everyone. The initial the adrenaline rush of getting a job, getting a monthly salary makes us all excited. But slowly, after maybe 5 years or 10 years of job, we all start, okay, fine. I mean, it is kind of, taking everything out of us, and we just want to, end our career, and we just want to start something new. So that is exactly the point where, we all think of, breaking down, because MBA course, it's so difficult to go through and graduate, and then looking for a job itself also becomes so challenging that after we get into a corporate job, we kind of get bored out of the job, in spite of a good salary, in spite of a good designation, in spite of being placed in a lucrative post at a multinational company. So what happens usually, if you take a survey, a maximum people who have passed out of from MBA, they feel saturated maybe after 10 to 15 years of, working in their respective jobs. So what happens? Because that's what happened to me. So I'll tell you about how it all happened and how it all started. So I was also an MBA graduate. I started my career. I worked in various places, from insurance to banking, and all good banking places I worked. I started with a multinational bank, Standard Chartered. Then I moved on to ING Vaishya, then to Kotak, and last was ICICI Bank. Only thing which I understood, which was made me understand while I was pursuing MBA, is that you do MBA, you get a job, you get a good salary, and that's it. So that's what everyone, all of us think, right? We are doing an MBA, we should get a job, we should get a good salary, and then we are set. It's like life is, sorted then. Because everything else can be, then we get into more and more of other responsibilities, and that's what all of us get into the same way of thinking. Now, if you ask me why did I quit my work and why I started after, doing 12 years of work, is because of the mindset what I even had. I thought that, okay, fine, I have done MBA, I've got a job, I'm going to get salary, and that I'm sorted in my life. But after 12 years of working, I understood that, I have never asked myself that why did I do MBA? Why did I think that, this is the job I was looking for? Or why, this is the only career perspective I thought into? That's where exactly all of us have to, start thinking now, because I think now is the right time. And with all the situations, all the challenging situations around us, COVID being playing the major uh, you know problem. I mean, it's playing the major obstruction in terms of lot of things. I think we have to start thinking that what exactly our goal is it only doing a management course and going ahead and taking up a career and only be happy with that, or are we also thinking about how to utilize this management course in different ways? Now, for example, every entrepreneur in today's day, if you ask, they might not be the the management students. Not necessarily every entrepreneur is a management student, but we see a lot of entrepreneurs who are highly successful, have great management skills. That's the reason, because understanding management is not only limited to the books, but understanding management is beyond books. So I would request all the students out here, like, please cash into the current opportunities as much you can, and go beyond your books. I mean, definitely, whatever you learn from the books, utilize that in your practical life from now on, so that tomorrow, in case if you are thinking that your job is not enough, or it is not giving you satisfaction beyond your money, or your uh, beyond your financial satisfaction, or beyond anything, I think more about it should be of your mental satisfaction. Today everyone talks about satisfaction is something which you feel happy about. I believe all of us understand that doing MBA, getting a job is not the end of our life, right? And that's exactly will come to your mind once you understand more about management, once you get into a job. So when I started working and I understood, okay, fine. So whatever I have been taught during the college, I am not going to apply any of those things in wherever I'm working, because your job, your corporate job is way far different than what you study in the college, and you are never going to apply whatever you have been educated at the college. So I understood that, okay, fine. So this is something which I am not able to relate, though I have given my 2 difficult years, putting in my all the effort in the MBA college, securing the the third rank in the college, and I'm unable to utilize any of the education what I have got. I understood that I'm not happy, even though I've got a lucrative job, even though I was, I was handling, I was at a very senior level. I was getting a good salary. I was unable to understand that why I was not happy. And that's where the whole thing changed in me. And I took a break from my corporate life, and I started something called into fitness, something into mountaineering, and a little bit into fashion as well. So this happened to me after 12 years of working and understanding what I want. But I would request all the students to think about what they want from now. Let not take so many years to understand that what they want after 12 or 5 or 6 years, rather understand now. Of course, whatever you're going to study, it will definitely help at each and every level. Might not be the book education, but for example, you have a lot of group discussions, you face a lot of interviews in the college, you prep for interviews for placement, and these are all going to you actually understand more people management skills than ever before you would have gone into a professional career. And that's exactly is going to help you in case tomorrow you're looking for an alternate career, because I see today MBA being as a benchmark, which was is a different benchmark than it used to be around 15 or 16 years when I was doing MBA. It used to be a different people used to look at, okay, fine, so he or she has done an MBA. But now, apart from MBA, you have to be continuously being educated with lot of other things. With the current scope of technology, I believe all of us are given a lot of options, like for alternate careers along with your management. Because if you can think about all these things now, I'm sure your corporate life post your MBA will not become so boring as it used to be for me. Uh, so, so with that, what I'll say a few things about me. I realized it after 12 years that, whatever job and salary I was getting, I was not happy, because I was, my lot of time used to go at a workplace, and I was not able to give any time to myself or to family. And suddenly when I thought of, quitting job, I had no idea what I'm going to do next. And I was totally blank. I was totally clueless. I was totally lost what I'm going to do, because I had never thought anything apart from my MBA and my career. And that's the reason I was, clueless. I just understood one thing. Okay, fine. Let me take a break, give some time to my family, and then maybe I'll think about it. Though fitness came in later, but it definitely took 1 or 2 years for me to understand, okay, what I'm going to do next. But then what happened to me, but at a later stage, should not happen to the students today, because today you have innumerable options out there. Apart from, along with MBA, now that we have virtual classes going on, we need not necessarily come to the college. We have a lot of time which is being saved from commutation. I think we can encash and utilize this time along with your MBA, certain other skills which can not only be utilized along with your education, but also will help you in case if you're going to take an alternate career later on in your stage. So I think we should focus on that more. And uh, coming to our management course, I would say that whatever I had learned during my MBA has always helped me throughout my career. It has not only helped me during when I was working in a corporate life, but it has also helped me when I started my fitness journey, when I also became a beauty pageant winner, when I also started climbing the mountains, when I also started, being a brand ambassador for few companies as a model. So whatever you take away now has to be very, very deep. You just not read human relationships or finance or accounts, or you just don't read statistics just for the sake of reading. I think we should just go deep into it now that we have little more time with us, understand those subjects more, try to put in more of other subjects which can be aligned to it and understand that way also, and apply it in our life. But before that, when we start all of these things, I think the first thing we have to ask ourselves, like, COVID has just come and gone, but there might be certain other situations which will come. So how are you going to handle those situations tomorrow post your MBA? Like, for example, I face a situation like that in 2007 and 8 when there was a great recession. All of except the students, all the other respected teachers and faculties over here, they obviously will relate to this these 2 years where India had to face a lot of challenges. A lot of people lost their jobs, and a lot of people, there was a huge amount of unemployment happened. So situations like this, challenges like this will always come to all of us, in spite of whatever we have been studied or educated or been certified with. And the major challenges comes to the management students, because with current situation, we have got many more opportunities in the market, where so many colleges have been offering management, though Osmania stands out always, and it has been the most dignified and most reputed university, and it still shines the best in one of the best in India. But still, I would also try to make the students understand that please start questioning yourself, that is it only MBA which is going to give me happiness in terms of my future, my career, or should I also look into alternative options along with MBA, which can be combined together, and tomorrow if I'm going to look for an alternate career, it is going to help me out. So I think that is what has been my learning. And of course, as I said, it has helped me in everything in my life. People management skills, what we learn as human relationships and management. Everywhere I have gone, apart from my workplace, I have had challenging situations where, you have to understand and, handle difficult situations, difficult circumstances, difficult people around, and how best you handle is our caliber. So that I have learned while I was doing my MBA, because group discussions what used to happen has helped me a lot. Similarly, I have faced with a lot of challenging situations while I was working, because when I moved on from Standard Chartered Bank to ING Vaishya Bank. It was a different shift altogether. It was kind of a paradigm shift of coming from a multinational company and working for an Indian company, and it was very, very challenging because I was unable to adjust myself, and I had a crowd which was, extremely senior people and extremely junior crowd. So handling that was also difficult. So whatever I've learned practically from my management, I have applied throughout my journey till date. But I would not talk more on this and emphasize the same thing again and again. I would request, the students to come up with questions because I want to make the session more interesting. And I'm sure every one of you will have one question to me. And I think if questions come, we can, I can give my examples and it will, give you an understanding, how my journey has been till now. So I would request Jahangir sir, can we have an interactive session? Otherwise, it will become very boring. I mean, I'm sure everyone knows what I've been talking.
Yes, madam, we can have it.
So,
Dear
sir,
students, you can ask some questions. I request my students to ask some your doubts or questions. Raise anything that you think it is relevant to today's topic. Please ask students, dear students, Bharadwaj or anyone, Rahul or Sirisha or
Hello, ma'am.
anyone.
Good morning. This is Bharadwaj.
good morning.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yes, ma'am. So as we have your introduction that you have worked for 12 years in various banks and financial sectors.
Yes.
So what was it like working with multiple organizations, and what is the things that we have to keep in mind while we handle like pressure situations and all that?
Okay, nice. So, my experience has been great. I mean, of course, when we get an opportunity to work with different banks, we understand, every bank in a different way, because though the policies remains the same, but every bank has a different, challenges on its own. So it has been a very, very, what do you say, journey wherein I have learned a lot. As we all know, finance sector is the sector which is it's very, very demanding, and you have to devote a lot of your time when you choose finance, especially when you choose a banking sector to work with, because we are in the business of lending, we are in the business of money. So when it comes to money, we have to be very, very cautious. And I was a part of the lending section, so my experience was like, we used to have a lot of pressure in terms of understanding the Indian market and do the funding. Coming from different banks, see what happens. The finance sector is the most organized sector when it comes to banking or everything. Barring the working hours, everything else is very, very organized. But only one thing which has to be derived, which I have personally derived and which I have seen among my colleagues, is that you have to be really, really patient. You have to have a lot of mental strength. You need to understand things practically than focusing merely on bank policies and working along with it. And most importantly is that you need to have your a calm and composed mind while you work in any sector, irrespective of whatever sector you work. And it's needed more in the finance.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hope I have answered.
Yes, ma'am, in the best way possible. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, anyone? Others also. Girls
Hi,
student.
ma'am. Yeah, hi, ma'am. This is Pandana. So I have a question. What are the hurdles you faced while switching your career, ma'am? Like entering into a fitness and this all. So I just want to know what are the hurdles you faced.
Excellent question, Spandana. I was actually expecting this question. So as I said
Thank you,
in
ma'am.
my introduction that, when I had decided I'm going to, leave the corporate life and give some time to my family, though I had not taken that I'm going to, take a sabbatical and sit at home. I obviously wanted to do something. But as I said, I had never thought of an alternate career and I had never planned or never, had gone deep into, gathering knowledge or skills to go for an alternate career while I was working, because while you work for a finance sector, you most of the time goes in the office. So I was just, clueless, and that's where the challenge started post quitting work after 1 or 2 years, because I had absolutely no plans. I hadn't jotted down what exactly I'm going to, how exactly I'm going to start, and how will be my journey, whether I'll be able to cope up with the new environment, because when you work for 12 years and then and you suddenly think of alternate career, you have to start again from the beginning, again from the scratch. It's never so easy. It is
Yes,
much
ma'am.
more challenging, because at that time and that age you have to again enrich yourself with the new the new skills, the education, the everything. So it was quite challenging. But I would also say, Spandana, because my love for fitness was inherent with me, so I was enjoying it equally, because there are other benefits which I could see in my alternate career. Like, I didn't have to wake up every day and report to work at time. I didn't had a had accountability to be be answering to someone, because though it was my own journey and my own startup, so I had all the controls within me. But yes, I would say that wish I had had a lot of knowledge before. While I started my career, I would have been little more confident in starting up. And if I would have had a plan, equally also it would have helped me. But though I wasn't, sure that, I mean, I was definitely never thought that I'm going to quit corporate life and I'm going to start an alternate career, because I thought, okay, fine, MBA is a big thing. If I'm going to work, I'm going to continuously work for 30, 40 years and I'm going to retire. So definitely there are a lot of challenges. There are a lot of challenges, because as a fitness coach, it is quite different from MBA. We don't learn anything very, very related to fitness in our management course or in college. It has never been a subject till now. But I had to get, my education. So I did a couple of certifications. I had to work hard to prove myself that, at this age and you can also have an alternate career. So went through a lot of challenges, but yes, today I'm successful, because it's only hard work which keeps you, reaching your goal. So yes, that's how it was.
Thank you, ma'am. And one more question, ma'am. When and how did you develop this interest in fitness, ma'am? And my question is, what's the turning point?
Okay. So, Spandana, I was actually not a sports person and from my school days, and I was a staunch NCC cadet while I was in college, and this was, this was an initiative which was, taken by my father, because he was an NCC cadet. So he had asked me to join, and during that, being an NCC cadet for 5 years, I actually learned a lot of things, and there are a few turning points during while I was in NCC also. Like, I faced few situations where I understood that getting that grill of the body and the mind put together, while you march under the hot sun for hours together, and while you face all the hurdles and make your state proud at the national level by representing your state through NCC. I understood that this is something which I'm liking and I'm loving it. Though I post college, I never got into any kind of other fitness, because after that professional course and then career started, and had no time to get into fitness. But whenever there used to be situations in bank, like we used to have month ends where we used to stretch to work till 12 and 1 o'clock at night, at least 5 days in the month during the end of the month. And I used to be very exhausted while coming back home. I remember I used to just, wear my track and a t-shirt and my, shoes, and I just used to go for a walk within my community. And I remember I used to walk for around 2 to 3 hours, till a time. There have been times where I've walked till morning 4 o'clock, and it has been, it has given me a lot of peace. And There are times wherever there is a lot of work pressure, and I have done Surya Namaskars, any kind of fitness. I've gone for a swim, or maybe I've attended a Zumba class while I was working. Understood that this is giving me immense lot of satisfaction. Though it is a very common thing with everyone. Like if you go for a workout, you get your endorphins and then you feel good. But then my endorphins used to get released at a very odd hours, like night 12, morning 5, and all that. So I understood this is what I'm enjoying. Maybe this is something which I will enjoy in spite of whatever situation, in spite of whatever circumstances, and maybe I should try this. So I took a risk, and I started immediately the next day after quitting my job from ICICI. I still remember the date. It was 25th January, and 26th January is our Republic Day. And I remember I started going to gym, and there was no one. And after 2 hours, I was feeling very nice, and I have not stopped from there. And till now, whatever happens, I am a regular person in whatever kind of workout I feel best, and I do it every day.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. That's so great of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, ma'am. I'm Shravani.
Hi, Shravani.
Hi. So this is like the question I'm going to ask is the continuation of the previous question. Ma'am, then generally if we have a career break or if we wanted to start a new career, then we'll be having a financial problems, right, ma'am? So
Sure.
how do we have to overcome that financially? So that's my question.
Okay, I'll give you a small, I'll share a small story over here. When I was working with ICICI Bank, I was a zonal credit manager, and I was having a team of 8 chartered accountants under me. And things have changed, situations have changed. Unlike, when when I started my job, I used to save almost 90 to 95% of my salary, and only used to spend maybe the basic things on like rents or food and all. I see this things have totally changed now. Today, young people just want to earn and spend it. I agree with it. You definitely should spend some, money on yourself, maybe, and you should also spend on your food and basic necessity. I think the only way we have to, take a jump to alternate career is from the savings what we have done while we were working, and it applies to everyone. I have seen people at a very senior level also. I mean, the scare of, or the saturation of corporate life not only hounds people at middle level or lower level, it also hounds people at senior level. Today, if you see, a lot of companies are having, I have been asked to, have been asked to the senior level employees to, quit, and because they're way more expensive for the companies to to take care. So even they go through this pressure that tomorrow what if I have been asked. So this that simple rule, while you start working, try to save as much as you can, because though you need to enjoy, though you need to have a good weekend, but you have to also understand that situations like this what I have faced, like there was a recession once in my while I was working, and I was shifted from a high level department to a lower level department, because otherwise they have to ask me to resign. So because we had an opportunity, so we could survive. But what if there is no opportunity? So how will you do? So it's not only for alternate career, but for your own also. We need savings. So please do save, especially the girls. Please try to save the maximum. And because we are in a society where we have to, after a certain point of time, our parents asked us to get married, and if any one of you are going to get married, and might be situations that you might have to take a break from your career, your savings are going to help you. So please try to save maximum while you are working. That's the only way where you can think of alternate career. And that's the only way where all the venture companies also start. They have their savings and they try to, get some loans from the market.
Thank you, ma'am. And also, what are the challenges a woman will be facing, ma'am, to become a Mrs. India or Miss India, especially from a non-beauty background?
Okay. So while I never thought of, actually becoming Mrs. India, to be very honest, I had no wish, no dream while I was a, child. Uh, But of course, yes, there are challenges because I became Mrs. Karnataka first before becoming Mrs. India, and I do not belong to South, so it was quite challenging for me. And because I had to, I was always on the, edge, because the first one to get rejected on any parameter they were judging me. See, for becoming Miss India, it's not so challenging because you have a lot of support from your family. You're still not having other responsibilities of, as a married woman has. So you have a lot of time. You can actually groom yourself. There are a lot of companies who actually help you in grooming. And you have to be well aware of what's happening in and around the world. That helps you in answering questions while the jury asks you questions at the finale. And of course, yes, the most important thing is your attitude. It is attitude which wins. It's not only limited to your makeup, clothes, and your accessories. I think you need to have a real good attitude to win at any situations, at any platform, and that's all I can sum up with.
Thank you, ma'am. It's very inspiring.
Thank you. I think Jahangir sir, I'm really bored all the students. There are only few people who are asking questions.
No, they are coming out. Others react, others, I request other students.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good
I'm
morning.
Hema. Ma'am, while you are shifting your career from a nice corporate job with a constant salary to a career with out of your passion, obviously you have some self-doubts like how will be the income and how will be the family pressure and all. So how did you convince yourself to going to take that risk, ma'am?
I guess you have to weigh out things in terms of like weighing exactly like what you want. I was after 10 years, maybe, or maybe after 8-9 years, I understood that I'm not happy with the job, and I understood that what I want in life. So that's where exactly I want all of you to start thinking what I thought after 8-9 years from now itself. That I understood that okay, fine, if I'm, there will be situations like you really can't fight at times, and while you're working. I mean, you keep fighting, you keep fighting, but there will be situations where you really don't think of, fighting is enough, maybe. So I
Yeah.
had a lot of situations like that, wherein, I was not happy, and I was not convinced within me that I should, be doing what is being asked or something, expected from me. And those kind of situations made me think that, okay, I should, try something new. And it definitely involves a lot of risk, because once you have attained a level where you have, you have really worked hard for 10 years to get to a level in your career, switching from there is very, very difficult, because you have no guarantee unless you're joining a different company that you are going to get a set amount of remuneration at the end of the month, or throughout the month. But yes, I understood that what I want, whether I want a remuneration or whether I want to follow my passion and do something where I get a financial remuneration which might not be as equal to my banking job, but that is going to balance my life more, give me a lot more flexibility, because I had a son when I had quit career, and the first priority was to give time to him. So I had to balance things, that where I balance the time, I want to give time to my son, my family. I want to give some lot of time to myself. Equally also, I will earn some amount and I should be happy with it. The most important thing is that once we get used to a very good salary, it is very difficult to understand, take a career switch or take a break from your career, because you will think, oh God, okay, fine. What if I'm not going to earn this much of amount? And then what will happen to my financial security? But that's where you have to understand also one more very important thing. If you want to have you want a mental satisfaction, then you have to think about what is more important for you, whether it is a job which is giving you real satisfaction, might not money be good at the initial stage, or you want the money flow to remain the same, but yeah, we can, we might not think about, other things like mental satisfaction or family time and all that. So for me, I weighed out things, and for me, these were more important. than what I was earning. And I also gradually made a plan that if I start, taking up fitness and do these many certifications and get more knowledge, so what kind of market I'm going to tap, what will be my minimal amount of income which will come, and will it be sufficient for me to that will that be sufficient to keep me happy? So that is how I got the answers to my questions, and I'm happy with whatever I'm doing today. Of course, today also I don't earn as much as I used to earn from banking, but I'm more happy than I used to be then. So my mental peace, my happiness, my family time weighed out more than what I was. And definitely it's absolutely on my own self hard work and whatever savings I had while I was working. And you have to be very independent, even though you quit work, even though you're married, especially married women like you. Obviously, I mean, a lot of people, so, you might think that, okay, fine, what if I'm not earning tomorrow? I should not be a burden to my husband or to my parents or to my in-laws. So try to save maximum, look for an opportunity where you can at least have some money for your own growth and for your own pocket money. At the same time, also weigh out, your passion. I believe that's very important, because if you're not happy with your job, you might work for 20 years, but then your level of satisfaction will slowly start diminishing. And then what happens that you could have worked for 30 years, but you are taking you are just taking a break after 15 or 20 years, just because you're unable to handle the the corporate life pressures. Hope I have answered your question, Hema.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Others?
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Ma'am, you said that you have done some certifications in finance.
Okay.
So I want to know what are the certifications you did, ma'am.
No, I haven't done any certification in finance. I have done certifications apart from my MBA. I have done certifications in fitness.
Okay, ma'am.
Any other?
The questions can be anything. You don't have to necessarily ask questions related to your MBA or career. You can ask questions on my mountaineering, because I'm a mountaineer. I'm a fitness coach, so you can ask questions on fitness as well. I mean, there can be a lot of other questions.
Madam, may I ask one question about fitness?
Sure, sir.
In this stressful, in fact, you know very well that current environment is stressful. Take any job. So in this stressful environment, how can we, the individual students, learn to keep themselves fit? Give few tips to all my students. On behalf of all my students, I am asking.
Okay, very nice. I was, thinking, why is no one asking me this question? Okay, because as a fitness coach, I'm more curious and more interested to talk on that subject. So Jahangir sir, this is not a, what I'm going to talk now. It's not only for students; it's for one and all. I think fitness is not limited to only certain people. Let's all practice this.
Okay, for all of us.
Every day. I think. Today, if you see, all of us have a lot of anxiety within us, because we are locked at home, and we are reading a lot of news which has been fished out by the media people on our TV screens or through newspapers. And a lot of news which has been published, I believe, is not what exactly it has to be. But with due respect to all the publications, I would only say that please don't get intimidated by what has been told in the newspaper or by the news channels, because this is just a phase, and it'll it'll evade very soon. Please understand that fitness is not something which has to be started at an age where you have understood, okay, fine, I have got a belly fat, I should start working out now, or I should just go for a run now. I want to do yoga just because I have to lose some weight. I have to go for a Zumba session, or for running because I have to lose weight. So people have started fitness at a stage where they have seen changes in their body as compared to what they were when they were young. I believe that's where people realize, okay, fine, we should start taking up fitness regularly, and we should start losing some weight. I believe fitness has to be started from the very beginning when we are kids. because it's not only limited to losing weight. If you ever see interview of a sportsman, any of the sports, people, any athlete, they talk, what they do is not about only related to sports. The stories what they talk about is all about, how mentally fit they are, right? So today's world is all talking about mental strength, mental fitness and all. So mental fitness definitely can be, inculcated through regular fitness. That's our, physical fitness. And a lot of discipline has to be there. And along with a combination of two, you can have a mental, strength and fitness. Because with lot of anxiety, what is going to happen to my career? Will I get a job? Where will I get a job? What will be my salary? How will be the placements this year? There is a lot of anxiety, right? Starting from the students to the, to everyone, all of us have this anxiety, okay? Because we are, at home, we have got a lot of time within our hands to, think a lot of things. But at times what happens, we overdo, we overthink a lot of things. To, take out this overthinking, or to, take out this negative thinking from your mind, you should start taking off, exercise as a major contributor to keep yourself calm and composed. So I would request everyone at least a half an hour to 45 minutes of indulgence in some kind of, physical fitness. Let maybe you go for a walk, or you may take up, go for a yoga session, because nowadays we have everything online. We have innumerable opportunities where, we can subscribe to few channels and they give us, live recorded sessions of physical fitness. There are a lot of videos, but I would not never recommend anyone to start with YouTube or Google videos. Please don't ever start that. You have to start with small things. That's, start from a walk. Go for a walk whenever you're feeling really, really, isolated, or you're feeling, you're having a lot of anxiety. Please go for a walk. Please go for a run. If any of you love running, please take up any of kind of, physical fitness attribute which, you love. Maybe swimming, maybe walking, maybe cycling, and start at least half an hour to 1 hour in a day. You will see a lot of difference in your thoughts. Slowly, slowly. It will not happen immediately. The first day you will feel nice because you have done something. But gradually, if you're consistent within a week or 10 or 15 days, you will see a lot of difference in your thought process. So I would request everyone to understand that this time let's utilize, because we are at home. We have a lot of time in our hand. Please, give some time to our, health as well, and take a time of half an hour to 45 minutes out from our schedule, and, give it to ourselves, to our body, to our mind. And while you're doing all this, while running or cycling or walking, start thinking. It's kind of a meditation, because you start thinking about whatever is going in your mind at a slow pace, and gradually you can, start taking up serious fitness goals if anyone is enjoying it. So I would recommend everyone to at least go for a, walk or a swim or a jog or a run or a cycle in the morning, the moment they get up, and see the difference after they come back. I think there will be a lot of difference once they come back, with after half an hour of any kind of physical fitness they have indulged into.
Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Good morning. I'm Aditya.
Hi, Aditya. Good morning.
Ma'am, as you said, you are from finance background.
Yes.
Like during your MBA, had you done any intern, ma'am, before getting into the corporate sector? And is it compulsory for an MBA graduate, like doing internship before getting into corporate sector? And one more question is, how were the opportunities at present, like post-pandemic, for finance students?
Of course, yes. MBA, while we are MBA, it's not only the knowledge what we get from the books. We have to also have some practical experience, because that's how the MBA colleges, and make us understand that before you jump into the actual corporate world, you should have a glimpse of, actual how the corporate world life looks like while you're doing your graduation. So I also went for an internship, and I was doing my internship in a government bank, and it was for 2 months, and it was quite interesting, because I was out of my college and I wanted, wanted to understand whatever has been taught in the college, how am I going to, apply those in while I was work, though we directly don't apply that. But still, it was quite interesting because it's kind of getting a real life experience before you actually face the reality. So of course, yes, internship is very, very much required, because it should not happen that you have been, enriched with all the kind of knowledge in the college and suddenly you will end up in a job and you are clueless how do you going to start. So internship actually gives you a breakthrough to understand, and that will help us when you actually get into a real job. And your other question was like, with current situations, how do we handle? I would, as I have already emphasized and told that, the situations are not that bad. But yeah, if you can utilize this time to, add some more skills to whatever your specialization is. For example, if a person is doing human relationships, please look out for other options along with it where you can combine and maybe, do do something later in the future, because we have plethora of opportunities now, plethora of, skills which is available in the market. So see best you can have, because if I suggest something, it will not be, fair enough, because I am not too sure what exactly will be your interest. So see where your interest lies and what is your current specialization, and try to combine something which can be done together. And maybe you never know, that will help you out in your corporate life.
Thank you, ma'am. Like, what were the add-on things we should do, like if we are into finance?
For example, if you are into finance and if you are looking for a job in the banking, so there are a lot of, articles. For example, because I belong to banking, so I would say there are a lot of articles you should start reading from now itself to get an understanding what happens in the banking. Please get into the Economic Times and news, get a hang of things what is happening in the financial market, and try to understand things more practically. I will not talk about certifications here because you are already doing a certification which has to be focused more here. But yeah, having a current knowledge about what's happening in the finance industry will give you a lot of, understanding that how will be your job, what exactly you will, be expected into. So that is one thing I would suggest.
Thank you.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
My name is Snigdha.
Hi, Snigdha.
Hello, ma'am. I was wondering if you could tell us something that we could do when we feel anxious, something related to our anxiety.
Yeah, sure. Great question, Snigdha. As I said that you're anxious and anxiety is for the couple of things which would have, come, because now that, we are having a lot of free time, so our mind is actually getting diverged into a lot of things which might not be so necessary. So with additional thoughts in your mind, you feel anxious, right? Because you think, okay, fine, there is, market is going bad. My peers are not getting job in other colleges, or maybe, people who are already in the jobs, your seniors or your friends or your family siblings, they are not, they have been asked, all this. So a lot of negativity is the reason you are actually anxious. So to break that anxiousness is to understand that you need to have a kind of, faith and hope on the place where you are currently doing education. Osmania is one of the very, very renowned colleges in India, and it has been famous. I know Osmania from the time I am doing management, and you have to have a trust on your own college that definitely job will never be a a risk, because you definitely will be placed. You don't have to think more about your placements. Only one thing is that to take out the negativity or the anxiety from your mind is that start doing something which you love doing. Maybe if you are a musician or if you love playing some instrument, start playing it again. The problem with all of us is that we forget our hobbies while we get into something which is more demanding, professional course or a job. And it is very obvious and we forget our hobbies, which used to give us a lot of happiness while we were kids. Some people, do collect coins. Some people collect stamps. Some people love playing instruments. Some people love playing football. I think we have to get back to that, days where we used to love doing, or we were passionate and crazy about doing some things. I think we have to start again doing those things to come out of anxiousness. Apart from that, you can take up fitness, which is very, very relaxing. You can take up yoga classes. You can, go for any kind of a, run or jogging or swimming or anything. I mean, anything which you love is the only way is to distract your mind from anxiousness and to keep you calm. I think that has to be practiced every day, irrespective of what age or what job you are involved in. You have to have some time for yourself.
Thank you, ma'am. That was very helpful.
Welcome.
Hi, ma'am. This is Shravani again. Ma'am, could you tell us a simple diet plan, ma'am, for a regular day?
Okay. A simple diet plan is that please eat home cooked meals. Please don't order from Swiggy or Zomato. And please reduce your intake of Coke, Pepsi, Thumbs Up, all the sugary drinks. That's the best diet plan for all of you. You are at an age where you will actually, not become obese, or you will not have those kind of challenges which usually people start after the age of 25. But the only thing what I see among the youngsters today is that they indulge in lot of outside food and drinks. So if you just cut off from that and only eat from home, I think that's the best diet plan. Our Indian food is the best, diet food anyone can have and can, reach their fitness goals.
Ma'am, and how many times a day can we eat the rice, ma'am? Generally, South Indians eat 3 times, like 2 times, no, ma'am?
There is nothing as a marked limitation for eating rice. It all depends on how well you digest whatever you eat. For example, if you are a person who puts on a lot of weight immediately, then I would recommend or advise that please try to avoid rice, roti, chapati, or any kind of pasta, these kind of items in your dinner, and try to eat, substitute that with healthy food like vegetables and eggs, fish, chicken, or paneer for people who are vegetarian. And you can you have to cut down a little portion of your rice or chapati, anything, if you put on a lot of weight immediately in your lunch as well, and likewise in your breakfast as well. So there is no standard rule. It depends from person to person and how you are. So you have to check how you are, because with pandemic coming in, a lot of people are actually putting a lot of weight, right? Because sitting at home, less of activity, and with the same eating habits, we put on a lot of weight. But then if you understand that you're putting a lot of weight, then try to cut out or reduce as much as possible rice, roti, and all that in your dinner, because after dinner usually we don't get into anything which is a heavy physical activity. So I would recommend that for everyone here. So that's a very standard and a very simple rule to follow.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am. I'm Shanti Priya. I just wanted to know if you were into finance into that department for so many years. So do you have any contacts where we can find internships and all, as there are 58 members into finance in our college. So do you have any?
Okay, Shanti, definitely I would love to help. Because I am based out of Karnataka, and I have my contacts based out of Karnataka. But definitely, while I was to work, I have my counterparts in Hyderabad as well. I'll definitely check with them if there are opportunities. I think there should be some opportunities, and I'll look into it and try to do my best.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. And also one more doubt I have, ma'am. Like, can we go for a walk immediately after having dinner or lunch or something like that?
It depends on what is your lunch and dinner. There is nothing specific rule that, which is a myth, which is being told that, we are not supposed to go for a walk immediately after lunch or food or something. We Indians eat a lot of, rice, roti, chapati, and you're not supposed to do a heavy duty workout post your meals. So, but if you are eating, maybe one chapati, or maybe maximum 2 chapatis with little sabji or little dal, you can just go for a walk, a normal walk. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Ideally, you should go for a walk, because if you are walking after it, and I'll only say walk here, nothing else, then you're actually helping your digestive system to, digest your food well, and without putting on more weight or fat to your body. Yes, it is absolutely okay to go for a walk.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
I'm Sirisha. Could you tell us about your experience in mountaineering?
Oh, wonderful. I was just waiting. Why is no one asking about it? Okay. So I'll tell you something very, very interesting here. Why mountaineering became my passion. Okay. Apart from that, I was a NCC cadet, and I had some kind of, that mind of, doing bigger things in my life. While I was working in a banking sector for almost 12 years, I used to spend out of 24 hours in a day, I used to almost spend, 14 to 15 hours in the, at work. And that's quite a demanding work, banking. For my sector, because I was part of retail assets, I was into lending. So I used to get exhausted, but at the same time also, you actually, bring in a lot of patience, because you can't just, go out whenever you want. You have to finish your day's work, and you have to only then leave your work and come back home. So 14 to 16 hours, and with the tremendous pressure, with the risks involved, because we are in the job of, lending banks money to outsiders. I had a lot of, stress. So the amount of stress what I had while I was working in banking sector, it is more than this, the kind of positive stress which mountains gives you, because it is some challenge which is like, okay, fine, whether I'll be able to, reach the top or not. But you know what happens? That is your personal challenge, because you're taking the risk, you're climbing it. If you're reaching it, it is your own achievement. In a corporate sector, that stress is for for the bank's progress. It's only that you're going to get your salary because you're going to work, and maybe a bonus if you do well. But on a personal front, the achievement is much more when I am into mountains, and that cannot be equated to anything else in the world. And when I hiked my first peak in Himachal Pradesh, I still remember the day and the year. It was 17th August 2017. I just thought only one thing is like, since 12 years, I was working in a sector where I wasn't so, satisfied. But today, reaching the mountain on my own with all the challenges, rain, slippery terrain, no sleep, no food and all, I'm more happy reaching at the peak here than I was happy while I was working 12 years, in all kind of sectors. So you will always be happy when you personally achieve something. That's where passion comes a lot. That's where mental strength comes a lot, and I have attained a lot of my mental strength. I had been developed while I was working, because when you work in a stressful sector, you need to have a lot of patience and mental strength. So I had built up a lot of mental strength and patience while I was working, that got all tested in a positive way for my personal goals while I started hiking and, trekking. So of course, yes, I mean, that gave me a lot of more satisfaction of self achievement. And when you work as a team, as a unit, as an employee, and it is your personal achievement is only, judged on, various parameters. Here it is absolutely your own hard work, and you are being judged. So of course, yes, any day mountain or climbing is, is my go-to.
Ma'am, Shanti again.
Yeah, Shanti.
So yeah, is it necessary to be physically fit and all to go for climbing or trekking?
I think it is a combination of both. You should be little physically fit, and also you have to be mentally strong. Because when it comes to big hikes, like more than 4 to 5 days, your mental strength is equally tested along with your physical strength. So, but if you are a beginner who is going for a 1 day hike or a 2 days hike, physical fitness doesn't play that much of a role. It is just that you should just go and break free and enjoy your time and relax and come back. So I would suggest all of you to at least go for a 1 day hike. And Western Ghats, which is spread across our southern region, is a beautiful place. And with the coming monsoon season, there are beautiful places to hike along with the Western Ghats. So whenever you have time apart from your college studies and all, please go for a 1 day hike, and you will see a lot of difference. Because I think more than mountains, there is nothing more challenging in this world. If you can overcome the challenge of climbing a peak and coming back, it will boost a lot of self-confidence within you. It will take out a lot of anxiety within you. It will make you a different person altogether. It will change your personality all over.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome. Anyone else wants to ask?
When others, I request others to.
I think Jagannath sir wants to say something, but I think his video is mute. I think his audio is mute.
No, it is okay, madam. It's not mute. He's on. He's
He's
on.
not audible, sir.
Yeah, now it's audible. It's not audible again, Jagannath sir.
No, sir, you're not audible.
No, you're not audible still.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I just wanted to know, you mentioned a lot about passion. How does one find passion, and what is passion? What is passion? That is my fundamental question.
What is passion is something, it starts when at a very early age, when maybe we understand when we are in school, when we are college, we do certain things which we love, and we can give a heart and soul for it. Some people get into sports, some people get into music, some people get into dance, some people get into very small things of doing so maybe collecting stamps, or maybe reading literature. I think you understand passion is something for which you can forget your hunger, forget your sleep, forget your everything, and you just get so attached and inclined to it that you forget the whole world. That is something called as passion, because that is like, which is because that's a thought of that which will be in your mind throughout in spite of whatever happens. I think we all, as kids, or as when we were in college, we all had something which we always wanted to do. Because I believe all of us, when we are in school and college, we want to become a model while we practice at home, and no one is there. Someone who wanted to become a singer and would have been listening to a lot of music, something which is giving us enormous satisfaction, something which we indulge ourselves when we feel satisfied, and we can give our whole life for it. So that is, I think,
thank you. Now I'll come to my second question. These days, I'm sure some of them, the students who are here, they would have worked. Life is very busy. So how does one find time for passion? Because you are struggling for your basic, necessities still in our country. There are a large part of people who are struggling for basic necessity. They need salary. Otherwise, they can't sustain. They may have to support themselves, or they may have to support their parents. how does one give time for passion? So should one reconfigure his life? If you can give some guidelines to that line in this direction, then I think it will be more useful.
Okay, fine. So this is also this question is a wonderful question where we can the topic of our today's discussion is facing turbulent situations or strategies to come out of turbulent situations while in MBA. So though my passion was into physical fitness, and though I was doing a kind of physical fitness every day, I think there is no certain you know uh, timeline which can define this, because if you are passionate about something, I think you will find time to do it. Because in that case, a discipline comes a lot into picture. Every one of us will have a schedule which we have to maintain. Maybe you might have to work from morning 9 to maybe night 10 o'clock also. Okay, but after 10 o'clock, when you come back home, and if you're passionate about something doing, then I'm sure you will do it. Because I used to love going for walks so much that even in spite of coming at 1 o'clock in the night, I used to walk for 2-3 hours and I was happy about it. So of course, yes, you might have to sacrifice a little bit of sleep, but then we cannot have everything at one go. We have to make time, take our time out. Today's world, we are also glued to our phones and watching so many things, getting information from so many things, let it be social media handles, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, or Facebook. But what are we learning the positives out of it when we are following certain people on our social media accounts? Do you think their life is very easy? No, they also have equally demanding life, but they take time out for their passion. None of the people who have reached the top have ever had an easy life to chase their goals or the passions and have reached. They always made their life more disciplined. They always took time out for things what they love, and they have done it, and they have balanced. I think balance is something, discipline is another thing which has to be there from the beginning itself to chase your career goals along with your passion.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess everyone had their questions. I'll also talk few things like, what are my takeaways? Though post my career, I took up fitness as a career, and it took a lot of time for me to understand fitness and get certified and get knowledge. But I would also share few of my life, learnings which I have had till now. Every path you start walking, let it be a career, let it be your passion, only thing what you have to understand is that you have to be consistent to get your results. Today I might be Mrs. Karnataka, Mrs. India, or might be a mountaineer or a trekker, or might be a speaker, or might be a fitness coach. Nothing happened overnight. It was my sheer dedication, it was my sheer determination, it was my hard work, it was, most importantly, it was my consistency, which has given results. There will be times, in spite of the combination of doing all these things, you might not achieve. But that's exactly, you have to understand that there will be a tomorrow. There will be a tomorrow, because while I was a banker, I would see my peers and colleagues getting promoted more quicker than I was getting promoted. So I used to feel, demoralized. I was like, okay, fine, what have I not done, and why am I not getting promoted? There will be, you might feel this even though you're earning a good amount of salary, even though you have reached a quite a bigger level. There will be failure in spite of whatever you are. I still face failures. I still face challenges, more challenges than ever when I was in a management, graduate, because now I'm married woman, I have a child, I have a family to take care. I have more challenges, but only thing which you need to understand is that please have faith on yourself. Please always think that there is a hope, there is a scope as well. If you be consistent, if you keep, working hard, and if you are determined to your goals, please always have think out of the box all the time. For look out for opportunities. Please keep yourself updated with the recent developments with happening within your specializations or outside of your specializations, and look out for opportunities always. The mistake I would you know agree to this, that this was my mistake, that I would, that I couldn't think of all these things. Had I have given a thought of all these things, maybe I would have in a better place more than what I am today. But yeah, never too late. I have started thinking now. But I would recommend all the students here, please ask a question. Are you only going to do a management course, and are you only going to stick to a corporate life? Are you only going to, get knowledgeable through only doing an MBA, or are you also going to look out for other opportunities or other scope of learning? With so many, technology advancements, should we not utilize it in the right way and, take it up later if it is required? So that's is my honest advice to all the students over here. And you all have a very bright future. And I have learned one thing is that from management, whatever I have learned, I've applied it throughout my life. There have been situations where I thought, okay, fine, I'll not be able to do, I'll just give up here. But I understood only one thing is that what has been told to you by your parents, or by what your friends are doing, or by your by your siblings, please ask a question to yourself, why you want to do this. If you're doing management, ask yourself, why am I doing a management course? Is it only getting a job and a salary, or will I be able to, be able to take a alternate career break tomorrow, the way Gayatri Mohanty has done? Am I equipped with all the knowledge? Do I have a plan? Will manage be sufficient enough for me to, sustain? Should I add more knowledge to it? Should I think of all these things? Your mind should be as open as a ground, a football or a basketball ground. We should not have any limitations of getting more knowledge added to it. So if you get more knowledge added to it, with the right amount of knowledge coming into your mind, you will have a different perspective all the time throughout your life. I think that is a message which I want to pass to each and everyone here. And hope I have not, felt, I hope it was not a boring interaction. Jahangir sir?
Madam, yeah, any more questions from students? No question from students. I would like to ask last question, madam.
Sure, sir.
How do you guide all, particularly students? How can they make their finances better? Let them join any job, let them take any job, but after taking job, as you said, your days were different, madam. 95% you are saving, but today in this attractive world, can they do that, or how you are guiding them to do manage their finances? Suppose somebody is earning per month, say 60,000. So how you guide them? What you suggest them to manage that?
Okay, so I'll give my example.
You are in my example.
Yeah, things will keep changing. Today, what everyone has, attractions of, going to a mall or spending on clothes or buying some nice things for self. Even I had that option, whatever options was available to me when I started working. But I understood one thing is that, like, I was very practical enough about my earnings, that okay, fine, I have education loan, I want to repay that, I want to give my rents, I want to buy these many stuff for my food. But apart from that, I'll save everything else for, the rainy days. We never know what is going to happen. We cannot always be, dependent on our parents, because once we start earning, there is a huge amount of expectations which starts, from everyone. Because once you start earning, everyone will expect something or the other. You might not be your parents, but your friends, your cousins, everyone around you. But you have to understand how you're going to spend. And I think all of us know that tomorrow, if something happens, that we might have to, take a break from our career, it's our only savings which is going to, save us from that time. So that we have to remember all the time, that even if you're earning 60,000, I was earning only 16,000 back in 2005 when I started working, and that was quite less. 16,000 at 2016 was also very less, but still I used to save around, 12,000. Then you have to understand that, job is not everything. You have to save for a lot of other things apart from job, apart from buying a house, apart from buying jewelry or, clothes and all. You have to understand that whatever you save, which is going to help you tomorrow. Today, I am, able to sustain, even though before I started my fitness career, because of my savings. So saving is the only thumb rule which is there, in spite of whatever you earn. And I have seen personally people who are like, selling flowers on the road. Just let's take example of a lot of people. They don't earn much. People who are to regularly selling vegetables or any kind of lower income people. If you see, they save a lot. Why? Because they're more practical in life. Even though they can always take out those savings and spend on themselves. So the amount of stress what we go through, even the people who are not going through management course also go through. So everyone's stress is the same. You have to balance your stress with things which is not burning your pocket out. So I guess stress should not be equated with spending a lot of money on things which is not going to add real value to your life.
Madam, just one my experience that they all non-management people are managing finances well than the man.
Exactly. That's what my example
What my
is.
observation, madam.
Exactly. So if you go to any vendor, street vendor, if you ask them, they save a quite amount good money with this earnings what they do. But we fail knowing everything. Is why? Because we are quite intimidated by people, by us seeing our friends, or maybe seeing seniors, maybe seeing our relatives. At times a family pressure happens because we have started earning, so we have to spend for family, we have to gifts and all. I think we can always balance it out in a way that we try to save maximum. It's always we can try and save maximum, and then we can spend on valuable things. I think I would personally recommend the moment we all start earning, please spend on things what you always wanted to spend while you were a child. Maybe someone wanted to buy a guitar. You can buy a guitar. You can start going for a guitar class where not only you will, balance your work pressure and also learn guitar, rather than spending on expensive things which actually doesn't add any value to to your life.
Ma'am, one last question from my end. This is Bharadwaj again.
Yeah.
Ma'am, when we are going out or in a busy schedule, at times we need to have an outside food. So how do we balance that with how do we how do we be choosy in selecting what is good for us in that situation?
Okay, now because what happens is that just because we have so much of options of eating out, we actually think of not taking food from home. But if you start thinking that we have to take food from home, I think that problem is solved.
Maybe in unexpected situations, ma'am, we plan our schedule for around 1 or 2 hours, and then that stretches more than 6 to 7 hours. Then
So in
how do we
that case, you have to look out for options where you don't actually empty your pocket and still fill your stomach and still save some money. Because I think with all the options outside, there are options also of choosing the place of eating. Not necessarily that we go for an expensive place. We can always go for a place which gives you healthy food and good food, but at a lesser price. I mean, see, saving can happen if we plan our salary. For example, obviously, let it be a salary, let it be a life. You can always not go whatever is planned. There will be unexpected situations all the time. But to come out of unexpected situations, let's not take up a easier route, or let's not go to a route which is, we are confused. Let's first think before take up a route. Like if I'm just because there is no other way out, let me go to an expensive place. No, we can always go to a place which is not expensive and serving us good food. You can do that.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, and we have one question coming in the chat box. It states that, ma'am, you have talked about how mental strength is required for dealing with challenges in life. How do we develop our mental strength?
Mental strength is developed when you face difficult situations, and when you think that how to cope up with the difficult situations, or maybe how to come out of the difficult situations. That's where exactly you build a mental strength. A situation which is which you are unaware of, suddenly you face a situation which is very, very difficult. It is challenging, and you either give up or you face it and come out of it. I think that's exactly is where you build your mental strength, because I always believe whenever you go through any distress or any situation where there are two options to come out of it, you have to choose two roads. Either there is a road where you face it, come out of it, and evolve as a different person, because evolvement will happen when you face it with strength and power and you come out of it. Or you give up and sit and cry over the situation, and then you finally start giving up later all throughout your life. I think that's where you build your mental strength when you face a situation.
Yeah,
Madam,
thank you.
one more last question from my side.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it is very feeling that everyone feeling that to have a passive income. What is your deliberation on that, madam?
Passive income is actually excellent idea, because that actually doesn't restrict you to only one way of income, but should not be a passive income which has been indulged into something which is unethical or quick money. Passive income is good if you can give your time for it, and if you can develop the skills now itself, so that you can start having a passive income while you're within your main income. It's an excellent idea, but depends on what kind of passive income you want to look. Because what I see today is that people look for passive income into a lot of doing a lot of wrong things. That is not a passive income, because any kind of income which is coming out with ethically, that is passive income, and it takes a lot of time. And and you need to indulge yourself into that. You need to give your time for that.
Okay. Thank you, madam. Any more questions from students? If no questions, let's close. Any more questions before I close? Yeah. I think no more questions, madam, from the students, and I also had enough questions. Thank you. And madam, you have shared your vast experience right from your career in finance, which started in finance, and also you have given a great description about the how to build strength, physical strength as well as mental strength, and also you have given how to manage the family as well as in the personal life. And your entire talk was enlightening on how to go back to our old traditions where we were relying on much on our personal things. You really covered that, really reiterated, madam, that really enlightens my students. And also I'm very happy to repeat, you have said a wonderful thing that we keep saying in the class. All you read this management concepts and implement. This is what it is. Other way happens. All the people, all my students learn about all the concepts, but they do not implement. This is what happens. We have been observing, and we keep telling, no. These all concepts are useful in our even this global or even this the internet environment also useful. That really for that part, I'm very happy listening from you that you have practiced whatever you have learned, the management principles, concepts you have practiced. I hope that helped you in trekking also. I hope.
Yes, sir. It has helped me everywhere.
And also that is really what it is, which is giving me a lot of satisfaction. Being the teacher, we keep telling them. Even we also did not, in my personal life, madam, we also did not, way back, did not implement it, but I am started realizing I should implement. So then I'm, for that part, it is really thankful, madam. And also you have answered several questions that are related to personal career as well as, the family and really very thank you, madam. Thank you very much for spending almost 2 hours with our students, and thank you one and all. Thank you.
Most welcome, sir. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you. So, dear students, I am closing the session. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.